came here accidentally today. I'm a pretty old guy, but I helped develop the video disc, which is right down the road here. We had the manufacturing plant. Do you hear it?
Oh yeah. What was your name?
Bob Huck.
Welcome, Bob.
Bob Huck, H-U-C-K. If you have the Memories video disc, you can see that I developed that one. That was the last disc we ever made. So, also some wall plaques and also 2 alignment discs, which my role is really developing the disc itself, not the player. So if anybody has any questions about the discs, you can ask me. Yeah.
Oh, I was very happy to get the Memories disc a while ago. What I always ask after watching it is if it was the last disc press, they show the people leaving the factory for the last time. Obviously, somebody went back in to press those last discs.
Right. There was let's see, the facilities manager went back in and flipped the light off. So, but I was wondering, and if you look real close, you can see I was walking out.
Yeah.
One of those.
But somebody had to go back in to make those discs.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. We were kind of amateurs at it at that point because we were the last of the Mohicans, I guess. And so I had about 2 weeks to get all the programs together. And if you've seen the disc itself, it shows the manufacturing process used for making the disc, which is fascinating. And then the player itself, it shows how they made the stylus and the player. And it's one of those things that I guess we preserved. I thought it was unique that we could do something that we no longer would see. I thought that was the end of it, but the internet has kept it all alive with CED magic and some of the other things. So I thought sure I'd hear a question about the disc itself, and sometimes they don't play very well. Well, I guess you all have that problem. And when we were making the disc, I was also the manager of quality control at the end. And one of the concerns we had was that if you go have a disc stored for a long period of time, maybe in high humidity or something like that, it might not play well. Or if it aged like 15 or 35 years like they've done, you could expect maybe some few glitches. So anyway, in the Memories disc, if you look at the disc manufacturing, there's a process where we use deionized water to rinse the disc before the lubricant is put on. And I have a patent on the rinsing process. So anyway, if you have a really bad disc that doesn't play very well, you might try carefully taking it out of the caddy and submersing it in deionized water for maybe 10 minutes and letting it dry thoroughly and putting it back in, and that would help it rather than playing it 6 times or so.
That's awesome. Well, you answered the question we've all talked about.
What is it?
So what is ionized water?
You can buy it at the grocery store.
Is that
That's just purified water?
Distilled, probably distilled.
Yeah, I think you can use also distilled water, and it's about it's a gallon.
And you just set it in there submerged, you don't scrub it, it just you just set it there.
Yeah, and you can swish it around. The reason is that the grooves are so close. I mean, there are 10,000 grooves per linear inch outward. If you would stretch the groove all the way out, it'd be about 12 miles on a typical disc. You know, 12 miles of groove. That's on a typical disc. So there's a lot of technology in it. And the disc itself.
Do you let it air dry? Do you dry the disc off when you're done?
You can, air dry it. Just don't buff it.
Okay.
I mean, you might dab it, but I don't.
Because you want to maintain the lubrication that's on there, right?
Yes, well, I think when you submerge it, you'll probably take a little bit of the lubricant off, not all of it. So, it might affect stylus wear if you did that a lot. But I'm saying on a kind of onesie-twosie basis, you may have a solution.
What about stacking damage? We see a lot of discs with stacking damage. Like, is there a certain amount of weight before those screws started getting crushed? Would you know what that weight would be?
No, I don't, but I understand. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those stacks too, and it's very scary.
Yeah.
So.
Pam said that at the factory, like 10 discs was the limit. You could only stack like 10 discs.
Yeah, I think you could probably stack 10 because they shipped in a typical box. They ship 10 at a time, and I think, and who knows, when they're shipping, it's probably laying upside this every which way. So my guess is 10 is about probably the most I would think would be reasonable.
We've seen pictures, up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And the memories disc is on the bottom.
Okay.
On Golden Pond would be on top.
Right, I gave, I wanted to show you that, a couple of things that we had on the wall in my office, and I'm going to give them away today. I don't want anything for them.
All right. You can talk, I'll hold. I'll be your Vanna.
Okay,
Let me get a picture.
okay, this. Okay, it says RCA Select Division video discs for exceeding more than 1 million in audited retail sales of Fiddler on the Roof. Look at this display. So got hanging on the wall.
So how many discs of Fiddler would that be, do you think? If they would sell for like $20, you think?
About 20, yes. So
There's quite a few Fiddler on Roofs.
It goes up a lot.
here's another one. This one is Ordinary People, and probably you've seen it too.
Very cool.
Do you know officially what the biggest selling disc was and the one that you manufactured the most copies of?
I don't know. I wish I did.
I heard about the biggest selling was on Golden Pond.
That's the most we always see.
Yes, that could be.
What's the most rare one?
The memory disc is probably one of them, but there are a few others that, for instance, some of the
Savage Streets.
Black Hawk films never made it out very much. I'm trying to think of some of them. On Top of Old Smoky, Nanook over the North. Nanook over the North was interesting because it was filmed in like 1916 in the Arctic, and it shows an Eskimo probably would build an igloo, for example. He'd stack a circle of blocks of packed snow, and then when he wanted a window, he just took a block of ice, and that was his window. So it was interesting. And then it showed him how he would get a whale, catch a whale, harpoon a whale. So it was interesting. So anyway, some of those are probably about the rarest I could think of.
What would the minimum quantity be to produce a disc?
The memories disc was probably the smallest volume.
That would be about as low as it would go for a title.
Right, and I think we made 400, and they mostly went to employees at the time. I have about 500.
Those are actually easier to find than a lot of others. Like I have most of the Avon discs, and I have like the video jukebox discs. That was like a scrapped project. And I've tried to get every title. I have every regular title, but there's like some of the non-consumer ones that are just, they may not ever get hold of.
right. Almost impossible to find.
So for some of these titles that we have difficult time, 400 would probably be the minimum pressing is like 400. Just
That
a
was
rough number.
well, in a typical movie, say, it was probably in the order of 10,000, between 5 and 10,000 they would make. And then there's some like Michelangelo. I don't know if any of you have it. Yeah, that's pretty rare. Probably no more than a few thousand.
Okay. Oh, I was going to clarify. So you're saying it was a minimum of 400 for any title, or like were there
Only for that memory.
So yeah, so like test pressing. So what was like like if you were doing something like a test pressing, how was there a minimum number of those that would have to be made, or did you just make one?
Well, because I don't know if you're familiar with how they make the stampers.
Yeah.
Okay, per stamper, probably in the order of a few thousand, but you can fan it out to probably, well, if I remember correctly, probably 15 or 20 from the master to the replication down to the stamper. You can have multiple stampers, and it could be high volume for one mastering. Mastering itself was very interesting because it was made in a copper substrate, which is about an inch thick, and copper was deposited on this metal, on this steel substrate, and it's what's called an amorphous copper, which is not non-crystalline, and the grooves are cut with a diamond stylus. I have one in the car. I could bring it and show you what it looked like. And if you haven't seen it, I guess you may have seen it.
Nope. No. We'd love to see it.
So anyway, anything else? Yes, John?
I want to have some technical questions for you later on.
Okay.
How long are you willing to stay with us today?
Maybe an hour or two.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
If you're willing to give us your time, we truly appreciate it.
Okay. Well, okay. Thank you, John.
Thanks
for coming.
Yeah, thank you. All right. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Extra time?
Yeah, I guess we'll just gather in the back there. We'll do a group picture, and then we'll move all the chairs.